The 1800s, the beginning. Before there were any types of school lunch programs established in the U.S., children used to carry their lunch pails to school, and if some kids were lucky enough, they would be able to ride their family horse to school. If the children didn't have a pail with them, most of the times, those children would be sent home to receive lunch and then walk back to school. The children that did have pails would sit outside of the schoolhouse and eat. They ate very informally, like these pictures of the Amish boys sitting outside.
The late 1800s, early 1930s, the slow start. There were two books that were published in the early 1900s that influenced the U.S. government to try and organize a school lunch program for the American schools. One book was The Bitter Cry of the Children by John Spargo, and the other book was Poverty by Robert Hunter. Both books emphasized the need of impoverished children and how they did not receive food from home because they were so poor. So the government decided to give schools their surplus of food, and from there, the schools were able to organize their own school lunches, which they sold to the children for about 5 cents. Some schools trained their staff, made makeshift lunchrooms, and sometimes the schools would get older students to help with the preparations of serving the younger students.
Oh, yes it will. It's been too hard living.
The 1940s to 1950s, the start of the cafeteria revolution. In the year of 1946, President Harry S. Truman signed the NLSP Act, the National School Lunch Program Act, as a result of General Hershey's testimony that some of their World War II draftees were malnourished. Each of the schools would be reimbursed for each meal that they served to the students, with requirement of bread, 2 fruits or vegetables, whole milk, and some butter or margarine.
Pails would sit outside of the schoolhouse and eat. They ate very informally, like these pictures of the Amish boys sitting outside. The 1960s, the commercialization.
Here are the children, tomorrow's adults on the way to the classroom, tomorrow's doctors and nurses, writers and lawyers, tomorrow's space traveler. Monday through Friday in each and every school, half of America's fine young pupils get their lunch through the National School Meals Program. It's a program that's funded by a piece of legislation called the Child Nutrition Act. Today, over 20 million of these hungry students rely on the program to give them a free or reduced price lunch. The noontime lunch may be the only real food some of these children receive all day long. That leaves many pupils out in the dust. And what about the good women and men who make the school meal program happen each and every day? Who can forget them? The lunch ladies, or as they're known today, the school food service workers. They care about making sure the meals they cook are nutritious and wholesome, and that no child is left hungry, even if it means paying for a meal out of their very own pockets. It sure seems like the school meals program is doing its job, doesn't it? So more hungry kids have access to the program, one that raises the bar on nutrition standards, one that makes sure school lunches are well funded. More money means better, fresher ingredients. One that improves training for workers. One that requires access to sick days and health care. And finally, one that expands the breakfast and summer programs. Ask around and see if your child is getting a good lunch. If not, it's time to enlist the support of your neighbors. Once you do, see to it that the good people, the school food service workers, have the resources and ability to make sure your young child gets the best school meal that he or she can possibly get. Let's make it happen, because after all, you can't teach a hungry child.
The 1970s, the vending machine wars. In the mid-years of the 1970s, vending machines started to appear at school lunches. At first, the government tried to restrict the selling of the food and soft drinks that the vending machines had, but the Soft Drink Association won a lawsuit that stated that the regulations the government tried to give them only applied to the food sold in the cafeteria. This was the start of fast food companies started to aim at children as customers.
The 1980s through the 1990s, the rise of fast food. During Ronald Reagan's administration, he cut many federal programs, including the school lunch reimbursements, which was under the Child Nutrition Act. So since this cut left the school lunches underfunded, schools started to buy cheap products like frozen foods, for example, French fries and chicken nuggets. Some schools also turned to fast food companies to make a profit also. As a result of Ronald Reagan's cuts, the school lunch food went from healthy to very high in fat. This ad made by McDonald's targets high school students. It shows them eating McDonald's for lunch after their first day of school.
Welcome, freshmen, to Montclair High School. This year, this class is special because this year, this class is challenged.
Oh, great.
How come it's so big? Are you gonna be late? Why does everyone look older than you?
Do you have a pass? I'm looking for my homeroom.
I need your pass.
I'm new here.
I need your pass. Why can't you go in the right direction? How come you don't know what to do?
Welcome to Agronomy 2.
Whoops.
By the end of the day, you're finding your place, learning the ropes, learning the pace. Time to get away to our place for the good time, great days.
50 pages tonight? Oh, great.
The good time, great days.
Tomorrow will be better.
You mean we gotta go back? Of McDonald's.
The 2000s and the present, the rise of concern. As obesity reaches a critical point among the children in the U.S. with ages ranging from 2 to 19, school lunch has been the concern of many parents. One thing that the parents complain about the most is the lack of healthy foods that their kids receive from their school lunch. Now the government and Michelle Obama have been promoting healthy food with various public activities around the White House and making the public aware of the reauthorization of the Child Nutrition Act, which happens every 5 years. This advertisement is promoting the reauthorization of the Child Nutrition Act.
As a mom,
As parents, we make sure our daughter eats right.
I think a school lunch of junk food and soda should get a failing grade.
But lots of children aren't eating fresh, nutritious meals.
It's deadly serious.
Obesity has skyrocketed in kids from 2 to 19.
These kids are at a higher risk for things like heart disease, high blood pressure,
And type 2 diabetes.
they're likely to become obese adults.
And their life expectancy is cut short.
What can you do? Take part.
Congress is going to reauthorize the Child Nutrition Act this year.
This act will decide what school children eat every day.
As taxpayers, let's demand that our kids are fed a healthy lunch 5 times a week.
This means hormone-free milk, fresh fruits and veggies, and whole grains. No more French fries and soft drinks.
Let's make schools junk food free.
Make your voice heard.
Sign the petition and pledge to make healthy food a priority.
Teach kids the right lesson about food.
To learn more, visit takepart.com/foodinc.
Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all